What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Before we start, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content. Alright guys, let's get into the first post. What was your what the duck? How do people not know this moment? Some third graders I knew thought you could become president by killing the former one. They thought John Wilkes Booth became president by shooting Lincoln. You could if you're vice president and you don't get caught. The general rule was explained on Star Trek, and we all move up in rank. By the way, interesting that you had the "and you don't get caught" qualifier there. I wonder how it would actually play out if the VP did get caught assassinating the president. But maybe that's more of a Babylon 5 thing. That women can't hold their period blood. I've seen so many people who were so surprised when they learned that you can't hold the blood that comes out of you like piss. That would be so convenient. Abso-fucking-lutely. I'd save it up and just piss it all out in one go. I honestly thought that's how it worked up into my high school years. I later found out women don't actually piss out of their vaginas, and that's when I straight sat down and researched female anatomy so I wouldn't look like an idiot again. My ex once thought periods only lasted a few minutes. When it was time, we just got up and sat on the toilet to let it all out. I just stared at him like he was an idiot for a few minutes afterward. Like, what? I remember I got my period the day of our anniversary and told my boyfriend, and he asked why couldn't you have waited to get it until tomorrow? He thought women could control when they got it, lol. I was watching a sunset at the beach with a friend when she asked me why the ocean doesn't extinguish the sun when the sun goes under the water. She was young, but an adult. Had a short conversation about the sun, the earth, and the rotation of the earth. You know, that'd be an oddly poetic thought if it wasn't so wrong. When I was a kid I learned a poetry about the sun wanting to take a bath. I really liked it and still remember it. It was in Spanish, but begins like the sun wanted to take a bath because he felt hot. The heat he felt came from the inside. The moon warned him against it, but the sun didn't pay any attention. He didn't even listen to her because the heat he felt took away his reason. What did she say when you told her the sun was 92 million miles away? I kept my explanation very simple. Just that the sun was much larger than the earth and very far away, and that we saw the sun rise and fall as our spot on earth rotated toward and away from the sun. She seemed to understand. I honestly believe she had never even considered the nature of a sunrise or sunset in terms of how they happened. Thank God. That mother effer is hot. My aunt once argued with me that H2O was not 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, but a word on its own may be spelled H2O. I was never clear on that. It's just another word for water, it doesn't stand for anything. I was 13. I still get mad remembering it. Don't remember how it came up, but I've had dude get irrationally angry at me for suggesting it's 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, not the other way around. The guy was much better educated than myself. Ask him what H2O2 is then. It's H2O2. Duh. Went to a middle school where the teachers did the group well-performing students with students still having some struggles approach, and I had to sit next to a total asshole for half a year. Not because he was having trouble with grades. There's no shame there. He was just also an asshole. But the thing that really hit me was that he just refused to accept the concept of time zones. Thought I was making them up. I even showed him a time zone map that came with our damn calculator, and he was like a Westworld bot, just unable to receive the information of this magical world in which he's lived all along. I know too many adults who don't understand time zones at all. But that approach you mentioned, had that happen to me over and over again, and it was utterly useless to the other person. I was an information sponge at that age and I didn't need to study, and it's not like you can just teach that. Mid-20-year-old friend didn't know you have to change the bag in a vacuum every once in a while. I could deal with not knowing you had to change the bag, but they didn't realize it needed emptied or something. I can't understand how people don't realize that it has to go somewhere. Sure, plenty of vacuums don't use bags now, but they still need to be emptied, right? Like, I was just wondering, where did you think it's supposed to go? Just getting thrown out with the air again. Lol. I heard a guy once complain that the suppositories he was given were so big he had to cut them in half to take them. Reminds me of the woman who was given an enema solution for constipation, but drank it instead of using it properly. What happened to her after she drank it? Did she throw up? Well, it didn't cure her constipation, and she had horrible stomach cramps. Two girls in front of me in line at a Subway on my college campus. These were in fact college students, mind you. One pointed at the veggie patties they have behind the glass counter and asked her friend what they were. This girl then said in a super southern accent, "Those are that vegan chicken, right?" And the other said, "Yeah, turkey." The first girl agreed and moved on. I'm still confused to this day. Another was my friend in college who asked what language was spoken in Italy and guessed it was Spanish. We had to remind him Italian was a language. If it wasn't for that horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college. You need to clean out the lint trap in a dryer. I frequently come across people in their 30s that can't figure out why their clothes take so long to dry. The lint's very flammable too. Quite a few house fires start when a full lint trap ignites. I save the lint and empty paper rolls to make fire starters for the wood stove during winter. When I was a student, I was doing my laundry and a guy arrived as I was taking out the lint trap of the dryer. He looked at me eyes wide open and asked me what I was doing. There were posters on the walls and on the dryer reminding people to clean the lint trap. In college we had the easiest washers to use. You just had to put your shit in and then select what you were washing. Whites, colors, casuals, towels, etc. I had to teach several guys how to do their laundry. They just couldn't figure it out. Living with roommates has taught me that the average person doesn't read. I was in a small town, that is tiny town, not even a traffic light, convenience store. The candy bars were marked 3 for $1. I picked up 2 and headed toward the checkout. This store did not have an automated cash register, just a drawer. At the cash register, the cashier said, "Those are 3 for $1. I said, "That's okay. I only want 2. Cue disturbed look on his face. "I'm going to have to charge you extra." "Okay," I replied. He thought for a moment, then with a look of pride he said, 50 cents. "Okay," I replied, before racing out of town with my 16.6666 cents of ill-gotten gain. Haha, that reminds me of a similar story. I bought 2 bottles of beer. The girl at the cash register told me that she doesn't know the price for 2 bottles, as they usually come in a pack of 6 bottles. She told me there won't be any discount if I only buy 2 bottles. Okay, I don't care. I don't need 6 bottles. I only wanted 2 bottles. So she tried to calculate the price for those 2 bottles, and it took her an eternity. I gave her a €5 bill and she gave me back €5.60 in coins. LMAO. No idea what she calculated there. Hahaha. Thought process. 6 pack is $10. 1 bottle is $2.90. $10. 2.90 times 4 equals minus 60 cents. He did the monster math. I once made out with a girl, nothing else. The next day she called me, crying asking if she could be pregnant. We were both 22. Well, did you tell her how babies were made? How a baby is formed? How girls get pregnant? How do I know if my baby is actually mine? I gave birth to her, but my boyfriend cheated on me, and I think he might have impregnated me with her baby.
Shut the fuck up.
My mother was in her 40s when she learned the Civil War was not between North America and South America. She looked at me and said, "You mean we fought ourselves?" Eitri the dwarf. Yes, that's what Civil War means. I thought it was called the Silver War until I was 12. On 9/11, when I arrived at my office, co-workers were discussing what had happened. Someone mentioned attacks on both coasts. I was surprised to hear that, as I hadn't heard anything about the West Coast being affected. Turns out they thought DC was in Washington state. I'm from the UK, but I always considered myself pretty knowledgeable of American states. Until I read this. I really thought the White House was on the West Coast, right above California. I had no f***ing clue it was between New York and Florida. This has shook me to my core. When I lived with my old roommates, I was choking on some food, and immediately I started trying to cough, and put my hands on my neck, universal choking sign. They looked at me and stared blankly, asking, "What is it? Are you hot?" They're in their 20s. Jesus, that must have been petrifying for you. Glad you're okay now. How did they realize that you needed help? I was able to cough up the food and told them I was choking. Okay, well, this is a brand new fear of mine. You just always assume people will know how to help. Glad you're all good now and hope your friends learned something. Learn how to do the Heimlich on yourself. Put your hands together just under your sternum, thumbs up towards your chin, and just slam your hands and chest down on the top of a chair. You could use just the chair top for this too, but that hurts like a bitch. Still better than getting killed by a bite of food though. Source: had to do this when I was chugging a smoothie I'd made at home, alone. Luckily had a good CPR instructor the year before they taught us how to do this. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all next time.